Okay. Hello, everyone. It's great to see so many people here, and sorry to interrupt your conversation, but let's get the program started for 1 hour, again, from 12 to 1. Then we can continue the table discussion. So I want to welcome everyone to the College of Natural Resources Global Engagement Celebration. I'm Bai-Lian Li, Professor of Forestry, Environmental Resources, previously served as a Senior Vice Provost for Global Engagement at NC State University. So it's great to see so many of you are here. I'm just helping to coordinate this global event with CNR, our Dean's leadership team, as well as the members of the International Committee. Okay, so this is, as you know, the inaugural, the first event to celebrate global engagement for our global achievement by CNR, by our outstanding faculty and the staff, and to recognize those who have made a significant contribution to global engagement. Global engagement is just not a good thing it's not just a thing to do when you have time and money, but it's actually essential for what we do as a college, especially the faculty reputation. I'll give you some simple statistics. You know, if you have an international co-author, your citation index almost triple, okay? So if we want to improve our reputation, if you have international collaboration, you have a couple co-authors on your paper, your citation average is about 7.3, okay? We have actually used NC State data to prove that. So if we want to improve reputation, have your publication get more cited, have more impact, that's very important things to do. So I think we are here to celebrate our college global engagement achievement and to recognize those who made a significant contribution. Okay. As you know, CNR may be a small college in size, but we're doing great things globally, right? We're everywhere, we're doing lots of amazing things. Natural resources, as you know, have no boundary, no political border. So we're doing everything everywhere, and so we're making huge impact, especially the sustainability, global climate change, and the renewable energy, and many other global challenges. So we're doing lots of great things. So today here, we are trying to celebrate those achievements, recognize our excellent faculty and the staff. We also educated students with a global perspective for them to become a global leader in environmental resource-related field and to address global challenge to build a more equitable and inclusive environment. So that's a great mission. I'm sure you're going to hear that from our dean next. So you have all printed program. So this is the order and the sequence we're going to present to you today. We're going to start with Dean Floyd to give you his college vision for global engagement in relationship to our new strategic plan, okay? After that, we're just going to follow the sequence and order here without a further introduction, okay? Because most people you already know. With that, I'd like to get it started. So please join me to welcome Dean Floyd to the podium.
Well, good afternoon. It's really good to see so many of you with us this morning and afternoon. And I know there are many, many other things that you can be doing at this moment, given where we are in the semester. So we're really happy to see this number of people turn out for our first event. I also want to thank Dr. Lee, along with Dr. Sykes, who took this idea of our leadership team and brought it to life. And as he said, I am truly excited to recognize our students and faculty and staff who've made significant contributions toward global engagement in our college, throughout the university, and the world. And although this is a time that we are gathered to collectively recognize our global engagement champions, the College of Natural Resources has a long history of international research, scholarship, and outreach to address the many challenges our planet faces. Our faculty and staff have actively engaged with international organizations, fostered global collaborations, and led student study abroad programs that provide our students with global experience and perspective, as Dr. Lee mentioned. Very few of the challenges we face today are exclusively local, which means the education that we provide, the research that we conduct, the partnerships that we seek must all be global. Today we celebrate the outstanding members of our community who have been leading us in these efforts. After today's recognitions, and that's where I'll talk more about our strategic priorities, we'll take some time to reflect and think about our future, about how we as a college can continue to engage globally, expand our reach, develop new partnerships, and create opportunities for our students to graduate as the next generation of global leaders. So, to begin our program, I'd like to welcome Dr. Rob Scheller, Associate Dean of Research in CNR, to recognize our Outstanding Global Engagement Award recipients. Join me in welcoming Rob.
Thank you, Myron. So I'm a member of the International Operations Council, which serves the Office of Global Engagement. And as such, I'm responsible for shepherding all the various awards that come through that office through CNR. And so my job today is just to recognize those folks who have received these various awards offered by the Office of Global Engagement and celebrate their achievements. Yeah, as I said, well, we'll start off with the first category, which is the three categories of awards, apologies. There's the Outstanding Global Engagement Award, there's the Outstanding Global Alumni Award, and then there's the Jackson Rigney Award. And CNR is unusually well represented within these three categories. And so we'll start with past awardees for the Outstanding Global Engagement. And if you're in the room, if you could please stand. We have Carla Barbieri from PRTM, Rachel Cook, who I don't think can be with us today, Gary Blank from FER, Gary Hodge. Is Gary with us today? No, I haven't seen him. Gary Hodge from FER, and Aaron Sills, also from FER. Nope, but big round of applause for them anyways. For the Jackson Rigney, so this is the highest global engagement award offered at NC State, and previous recipients include Fred Cubbage. I know I've seen Fred here somewhere. Fred Cubbage. And again, Aaron Sills in 2018. So we have nominees for this coming year. Those include Dr. Isa Erkeman. I know you're here somewhere. There she is. So she was nominated under the category of junior faculty. Dr. J.J. Acosta was nominated under the category of senior faculty, and Dr. Rafael Rubilar nominated under the alumni category. He's not here today. Unfortunately, I am forbidden from announcing who the winners are. Now, this is killing me because I know who the winners are. But the interim associate vice chancellor for Office of Global Engagement told me under no circumstances am I allowed to reveal the winners. However, that will be shared at the NC State Global Exposition next week. So we'll know the winners next week, and just be prepared to offer some applause for some of our colleagues here in CNR. That's all I can say. But congratulations to everyone. Thanks for making CNR proud for all of your efforts and all of your global engagement. As Violen said, this is part of what makes us great, is our our global reach in helping people solve global problems around natural resources. Thank you.
Good day. So I'm here to speak on behalf of Forestry and Environmental Resources. And in the department, we have a long tradition of global engagement. You saw that with some of the awardees that have already been announced today. And also global leadership by our faculty. In my few minutes, I will highlight our most recent faculty engagement and accomplishments globally. And first, I want to recognize two recent folks from that got international awards. So first is Jack Wang, who received an Excellence in Forest Molecular Biology and Genomics Award from the International Union of Forest Research Organizations in 2022. The award is based on 4 criteria: exemplary science, expanding dialogue, accelerating stewardship, and enhancing diversity and inclusion. The second recognition is for Dr. Jennifer Richmond Bryant, who recently was appointed to the World Health Organization Global Air Pollution and Health Technical Advisory Committee. The Technical Advisory Group provides support and technical guidance to the World Health Organization by reviewing and analyzing the current health impact assessment methods and input data. And unfortunately, Jen cannot be here today because she's teaching, which I told her was a very good excuse. We can clap for her anyway. So secondly, our department has a strong tradition of offering short-term study abroad programs, and these were mentioned in your questionnaire at your table. And these short-term programs provide oftentimes the first international experience for our students. And these are only possible because of the time and dedication of the faculty leaders that organize and offer those experiences. So the first recognition is to Dr. Gary Blank, who has led the course. Gary? Gary has led the course International Sustainable Use of Natural Resources 20 times since 2000. The course is offered in partnership with Purdue University and SLU in Sweden. Approximately 110 students from NC State have participated, and 13 more will be traveling with Gary this summer. Until 2018, the course had alternated between travel to Sweden or other portions of Europe in the odd years and to North American destinations in even years. Now the course travels exclusively to Europe every year and will focus on sites in Sweden this summer. Dr. Nils Peterson has offered... Great job, Nils. Dr. Peterson has offered the course Conservation Biology in the Bahamas. That sounds rough, right? 8 times since 2012 with 81 students participating. The 6-credit course is co-directed with Brian Longerhans from the College of Sciences. The course lasts 10 weeks with several weeks of preparation and defining research questions, 2 weeks on Andros conducting field research, and then 5 weeks post-trip working on data analysis and manuscripts. The class and the participating students have produced 13 peer-reviewed journal articles, and there are 2 more in press. They even have their own Google Scholar profile page with an H-index of 8. So maybe get tenure in a few years, Nils. Dr. Chris Moorman, that's me. I've offered the course Tropical Wildlife Ecology 8 times since 2008, and the course is offered every other spring semester, so it's a semester-long course that includes 10 to 11 days traveling abroad over the spring break. The course originally traveled to Nicaragua, which was a wonderful country with wonderful people, but unrest in 2018 sent us for new plans. So since 2018, we've begun to travel to Ecuador. Most of the students that travel with me come from Forestry and Environmental Resources, but some come from other places on campus. I've had 76 undergraduates and 12 graduate students enroll in the course so far, and I already have 14 plus a bunch on the waiting list for next year, because I only take 14 at a time. Students traverse the Andes to the Amazon, sampling wildlife along the way, and this past year we were lucky enough, sort of happenstance, to be able to fly into remote Amazon and stay at Kapaui Lodge. The lodge is owned and operated by the Achuar tribe. These indigenous people have ancestral lands that straddle Ecuador and Peru borders. And that was a spectacular experience, and we're actually going to be able to go back and visit Kapawi again in 2024, which is pretty unique. And I'll just say lastly, because I've been involved with this, the transformation I see in the students that travel with me is clear and extreme. So this is one of the most gratifying things I do as a faculty member at NC State. So this year we also have 3 faculty that are participating in the Global Engagement Institute: Dr. Angela Allen, Dr. Madhu Kati, who is not here, and Dr. Rajan Perajuli, who's right back there. So the annual Global Engagement Institute provides professional development opportunities for faculty and staff interested in developing research, scholarship, or academic programs that strengthen and enhance NC State's collaboration with global partners. Each year, a cohort of up to 10 faculty or staff members is selected to participate in a variety of activities focusing on a world, region, or topical orientation. And I'm sure Angela and Rajan can tell you more about what they have planned for this experience. Oops. Lastly, I wanted to recognize 2 faculty that are on scholarly reassignment this semester. Dr. Fikret Isik, who's not here, he's on scholarly reassignment. He received a Fulbright U.S. Scholar Program Science and Technology Award to support his travel to South Africa during the 2022-23 academic year. Dr. Isik will be spending 10 months at the University of Pretoria Future Africa campus to teach modules in quantitative genetics and its applications in animal and plant breeding. Future Africa is a new research institute and Pan-African platform at the University of Pretoria set to inspire science excellence to transform Africa and the world. The Fulbright program provides the opportunity to exchange ideas and contribute to finding solutions and challenges facing communities in the world. Second, Dr. Rachel Cook, who's also not here, is working on scholarly reassignment during this semester. She will focus on publishing the FPC soil classification system that she's been working on for several years. She will be in Spain, working with a colleague there, Vincent Ribas Costa, who is co-advised, this is a PhD student, with a faculty member at the University Politécnica de Madrid. While there, Dr. Cook plans to meet with the faculty and set up connections for future student exchange. In May and June, she will travel to Brazil to work with the FPC co-director there, and then she finally hopes to visit Sweden at SLU and review new techniques on microdialysis for testing soil nutrient dynamics. So really, this is an extended trip around the world. Thank you.
So good afternoon. My name's Steve Kelly, for those of you that I have not met. I'd like to also start with a thanks to our catalyst, if you will, by Leanne, for getting this organized, and for Dr. Floyd for your support as well. So Forest Biomaterials, we've got a bunch of people going a bunch of places, and I know I can't keep track. Maybe that's what interim means. I don't actually have to keep track. So we've got some groups that have been engaged in a whole variety of different activities. Those of you that know some of these faculty, we will send Med Bird, Hassan Jamil, and a responsible adult, Brittany Hayes, and about 58 students to the Paper International Experience. This year it'll be in Finland. So that's a 2-week trip where they go to mills and work with students in different programs to learn state-of-the-art technology advancements. Dr. Bird, Dr. Jamil, and the responsible adult in that party was Lakendra Paul, have been teaching a short course in Finland for several years now in Tampere, Finland, with a number of industrial partners. Primarily Valmet, is that? Okay. Natalie, Natalie's here, yes. Natalie's been busy. Natalie Lavalin has been in Brazil as part of a CAPS Print Fellowship program. She was a recipient of the Quansar, is that how you pronounce it? Global Sustainability Award, where the award was presented in Cape Town, South Africa, this past spring, November. And then international seed funding for work with a student at Laval University in Finland, and also work in Italy with another student. I've had the luxury privilege of actually being in Kenya recently, talking with some people from the World Bank and 2 forestry and ag institutions about biochar and carbon credits. Who knew that you could take carbon and put it in the ground and get paid for it? I've also taught a 4-credit class in Uvascula, University of Applied Sciences, for 4 years now. Couple of years online, and that involves students in China, in Uvascula, and the United States, which meant the common meeting time was 5 o'clock in the morning, but we got through it. Dr. Lucian Lucia has been busy as well. NC State, Israel, visiting scholar, recipient, and I think that trip is still to come, Lucian. And then also a U.S.-Italy Visiting Scholar Award. Dr. Paul, on his own, left to his own devices, he does great things if he doesn't have to look after Med and Hassan. So in particular, actually on the way down here, Dr. Paul mentioned that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation project that has been ongoing for 4 or 5 years now, where they're essentially using banana paper, or paper made from banana husk, to wrap seeds in it and prevent nematode attack. So significant agricultural impact. He was just interviewed on WRAL, and we'll send the link out. But that has been an extraordinarily successful and important collaboration. And then a second opportunity to serve as a delegate to a visit in Uganda, looking to establish a collaboration there. So thank you, Dr. Paul. Sunkyu Park, Dr. Park, I don't believe is here, but has had a series of research collaborations that has allowed our students to go to Korea and Korean students to come here, primarily looking at carbon materials that would go into batteries and similar high-tech applications. Daniel Saloni from Sustainable Materials and Technology has had a long-running collaboration with the Federal University in Brazil. It's yielded a series of published papers, 3 papers in process, and a book chapter. I don't think Daniel's here. Then Rich Venditti, and actually this in some ways I think was the University Global Partnership Program that I think Dr. Lee, you started or were the catalyst for a year or 2 ago. And ongoing, and I think many of our faculty are taking advantage of it, but in particular in this one, Dr. Venditti and Dr. Pollack that are looking at, call it biodegradation of different kinds of textile fibers, think microplastics, and what actually is degraded and what stays in the ocean for a long, long time. And that's with partners at Surrey University. And finally, 2 PhD students that we're extraordinarily proud of. Nakari is a 3rd-year PhD student working for Ronalds Gonzalez. Got 3rd prize for a best poster at an international conference in Spain. And then one of Natalie and Melissa Pasquinelli's PhD students, Marilla Artner, got a travel grant from the Graduate Student Association to go to Brazil and present some of her work and conduct additional experiments. And last but not least, we've got a Fulbright undergraduate who's got a Fulbright fellowship to go to Finland, Aalto University, which is one of the premier universities in our field in the world, and she'll go to Aalto to work on her master's degree. It's a 2-year funded project. So thank you.
Afternoon, everybody. All right. Afternoon. All right. All right. It really is a pleasure and honor to be here to recognize faculty within the Parks, Recreation, Tourism Management Department. It's not to say that other departments do not have remarkable faculty, even though I guess I'm alluding to saying that, but the people who I work with have been incredible. And when I see them walk in and check their mail and meet with students and tick-tack on a laptop, you really do not get a grasp of how much work they actually do. So thank you to Dean Floyd and Balian and Janice for pushing us to sort of recognize the work here in a very small way about the big work that all these people do. So first, we have Carla Barbieri, who does incredible work that touches the lives of many, but in particular, a group of women who are working on sustainable farming, agritourism, and we just heard this week, correct, in terms of trying to create a network. So the work that came out of this Fulbright is still going, and this network is going to bring hundreds of farmers around the world. Not to put a lot of pressure on you, but want to sort of recognize that. Mike Edwards and Kyle Bunns are not here, but I want to recognize our colleagues here who have done the hard work of not only providing insight to colleagues in the United Kingdom and Germany, but also trying to create ways in which these particular countries can infuse in their curriculum different ways to create better fan experiences, but also trying to create responsible and safe places for people to have the experience of watching sports. Aaron, yep. While we're here for global engagement, what's remarkable, of course, to me in terms of Aaron's work is not only is he being recognized on the screen for the international sort of global partnership work, but at the exact same time trying to create domestic networks of the same sort of quality and magnitude. Appreciate it. Thank you for the work. Another one of our colleagues who is not here, Duarte Moraes. Incredible work, both in terms of Guatemala and South Africa, but really the People First Tourism Lab is something of his remarkable brainchild, and trying to really, as the title indicates, trying to make the lives of local farmers, specifically not only here in North Carolina, but also in these other particular countries, front and center as they're being sort of crowded upon and encroached by industry and so forth. Duarte Moraes. Yufe Leon. Yufe, to me, represents not only the College and Natural Resources all in one particular person, because not only of his work within Antarctica, who is trying to deal with not only trying to curb extraction of resources down there, but also trying to address the growing interest of people who want to tour this space that needs to be protected. Thank you for your work. Aaron Seacamp. It's rare when somebody who embodies not only a distinguished professorship that does not exist yet already in their particular work, and then when the distinguished professorship comes, they're the rightful person who receives that honor. And not only did it sort of represent this particular work from this center here, but the work that has been going on from the time that she's been here. Thank you for your work, Aaron. Corey Johnson, who is not also here, has already hit the ground running in 1 year. I'm not forcing this person to work this particular hard. It's just what he chose to do, and already has received a SHIRT award, actually 3 from the University of Waterloo, but also in partnership with the Government of Canada. Mike Edwards, who is not here, and one of our colleagues also in sports management, who already was mentioned up on the screen before with sports and sports programs and facilities, but Mike also has had the responsibility of leading our study abroad, which we've had to put on hold due to COVID and so forth. Those of us who have had the experiences of traveling with students know the headache of not only dealing with the students, but also the headache that comes with trying to always stay focused on trying to create an intentional process and opportunity for our students, which is difficult to do when the class is every day, all day, in taxi cabs, on subways, and so forth in another country. Jason Beccaro, thank you for taking on the role of United Nations Secretary General. But no, honestly, yes, it's a list of opportunities and recognitions of work that's listed up here, but what is not really represented up here is the consistent effort to bring in other people into these opportunities. So while he is being recognized on the screen, I know he has made it his business to also bring other faculty and also students in each of these notations up on the screen. And it's not another page, just so you know, it's just this particular page. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, you got them all warmed up for me. Thank you. I am really excited to talk about study abroad because this is something that I'm just so passionate about. Anytime I'm interviewed by a prospective student or a student who's going up for a scholarship, they say, what did you wish that you would have done as an undergraduate student? Always the answer is study abroad. I really missed out not doing a study abroad. So I want to work hard to make sure our students who want to do that have the opportunities to do that. So a few things to tell you about. Study abroad is just something that's very high impactful. And if you hadn't seen the announcement recently, the new quality enhancement plan that the university is going with is high impact practices. And study abroad is one of those. Undergraduate research and some other things are as well. And so this is going to become an even increasing important area for CNR and NC State. So, and thanks to Chris Collins, by the way, for putting these slides together for me. But some of the statistics that he found for us is 57% of students choose their colleges with study abroad opportunities in mind. That's pretty incredible to think about. Also, those study abroad participants have a higher engagement, retention, and graduation rates post-experience. And 84% of students express concern over studying abroad costs. And I'll be telling you about some of those costs in a few moments so you can see why. Balian asked us to put in some statistics, so we put those in here. And so you can see here, these are what the participation has been in CNR and study abroad for the past 10 years. So pre-COVID, we were averaging between 65 and 80 students doing study abroad. Of course, we had the dip, and I think the one student that is there was somebody who might have already been in the study abroad when COVID hit. And then our numbers are picking up. In this past year, I'm excited to say that we had 128, which is an all-time high for the past 10 years for us. And if you might be wondering where they've gone, well, this is a map showing them. We have mostly the students going to Europe. Of course, the pie trip that Steve Kelly just talked about with Finland is a big part of that. The study abroad that Gary Blank leads in Sweden, and some of the other ones that are also in FER as well is a lot of those numbers. Also, some demographics, if you're wondering about how it is by major, you can see it here. Of course, with the pie trip, paper science and engineering is pretty high. Also with FWCB and environmental science being pretty high with their programs, organized programs. And sport management, you just heard Razul talk about some of the ones that his department's offering as well. Our other smaller programs also are doing some study abroad, so you can see those numbers are roughly around 10. And I forgot to say, these are the numbers from 2018 to 2023. Also wanted to show you what the demographics is for the students doing study abroad. So again, 2018 to 2023. On the left, you can see where the students, it tends to be mostly female. This is not just a CNR trend, this is a university trend, and it's actually a national trend too. So we'd love to see ways that we can get more of our male students involved in study abroad. It also tends to be more of an undergraduate thing, so you can see on the left, on the right, where that breakdown is. That little Carolina blue sliver is the graduate students. Graduate students tend not to do study abroad as much, just because of the nature of what they do. That doesn't mean we can't, so if you have some great ideas there, let's talk about it and see what we can do. But you did see some of the things that Natalie and others are doing with the research abroad, and so there's a lot of great things we are doing in the research arena that is not represented in that little sliver. But it tends to be mostly juniors and seniors that do study abroad. That doesn't mean our freshmen and sophomore can't, so definitely a lot of opportunity there. Also, in terms of ethnicity, you see on the right what that breakdown is. It also tends to be very white. Most of white students are doing it, but there is a little bit of breakdown. It also tends to be some of our Asian students, and you see the other slivers there as well. So definitely can do better in making sure we're diversifying who has access and ability to do study abroad. In terms of the residency, about almost 80% of our students who do study abroad are in-state, which is roughly equivalent to our breakdown in our undergraduate population. Pell Grant eligible, it's about 18% there, and about 9% of our first-generation students. In terms of financial need, so in spring 2023, we had, and we got these numbers from the Study Abroad Office, 21 students in CNR applied for assistance for funding, and 12 of them have some form of financial need to be able to do that. So that's about half. And the same for this summer. We had 72 students apply for assistance, and 43 students have some need. One way that we fund this, as students doing study abroad, is through our, the generosity of Ron and Dale Terry with our enrichment fund. And we also have received funds from Bioresources Journal and some other donors as well. And so Ron and Dale Terry started this fund, I don't remember how long ago, Jennifer, do you? You don't either, okay. Yeah, okay. And so they designed it on purpose to try to get students these co-curricular experiences, these high-impact practices. And a lot of the students who do apply for the enrichment funds do go to study abroad. So in spring 2023, we had 17 out of the 41 applications that we received be global experiences, and the average global need from those applications is about $2,700. Last fall, we had 23 applications for the enrichment fund. 11 were global, so almost half, and the average global need for that was about $3,500. That's a lot of money to do a study abroad. So, so the dollars, you know, there's only so much we can do to help. We struggle when we're trying to decide on these enrichment fund and who to fund, because we want to impact as many students as we can. And so sometimes we've given a lot of awards, but then last spring, for example, we had a lot of students turn it down because of what we gave was not enough. And so we're working on maybe making bigger awards, but affecting fewer students, so we can make sure that our students are going as well. I also want to share, you may not know that the dean also gives some additional funds for study abroad, and so your students who may receive a study abroad scholarship through the Study Abroad Office, that is support that's coming from Dean Floyd, so thank you for doing that. Okay, oh, thank you, appreciate that, yes, I agree. One other area that we really want to emphasize, and we're hearing greater demand from our students, is about doing internships abroad, right? And one of the things I actually love about CNR is we really endorse these internships and co-ops, and students want to do these abroad. There's a lot of complexities in doing internships abroad, but we can still do them. And so thanks to Brittany Hayes and Martha Brown and Aaron Champion for giving these. They tried to remember all the internships abroad that they could think of in the past several years. So you can see we have had a few. I would love to see this list grow in the next few years, so it'd be great to have more of these. With that, you may have heard, and I think Dean Floyd's going to mention this tomorrow, about our Career Service Office that we're going to be opening. And so this is a great opportunity for that person to partner with anybody interested in helping to develop these, to make sure we get more of these opportunities for our students. Okay, and to finish up, we wanted to give you some student testimonials. So I'm not going to read this, but I just wanted to highlight a few things that Haley Pierce, who's an environmental science student, said. She said, "I've never been out of the country," right? And so this gave her an opportunity to get out of the country. And she also said, "I also knew the classes could help me fully decide on a focal area and minor to pair with my environmental science major." So it really also helped her grow in her discipline and things that she could do with it. Erin Cohn, who is also from environmental science, said, about one of the things that they learned was about the importance of diversity in the people around me, which is definitely one of the reasons that we want students to do this. Jalen Page, who was a paper science and engineering student and also worked in our office, said that his experience abroad helped him enhance his competencies of communication and problem solving, and it made him become more culturally sensitive. And then Nathan McGuard, who is an environmental science major, who also was in international studies, said, in high school, I was fixated on traveling to South America. And so the big reason Nathan studied that is because he was interested in sustainable development in Spanish. So once a trip to Quito came about, he was really excited to jump on that. Okay, I want you to hear from one of our students, and so I am delighted to introduce Katie Savant, who is a junior in our Environmental Technology and Management program. And I'll also say that we are so fortunate to have her as an intern in academic affairs. She's amazing, so take it away, Katie.
Hi, everyone. So as you just heard, I am definitely an intern in the office, so I was quite the easy target to get here today. But this last summer, for the month of July, I studied abroad with Dr. Gary Blank in the Czech Republic for the course International and Sustainable Use of Natural Resources. And going into the program, I knew that, well, I was anticipating it to serve two purposes: of opening my horizons to comparing U.S. policy to the policy in European Union, and kind of seeing how that differs, as well as just how the mindset of sustainability is different in another country. And so I also had the idea that I would be fully immersed into a culture, and that I would really gain aspects of how to diversify and communicate in another country, where communication can be quite difficult if you don't speak their language. And so I definitely feel like I got those aspects out of it. While being there, we were able to see the incredible public transportation system. We were able to see the green spaces and what they were doing with their forestry industry while they had an invasive species, and how they were able to work around that while still maximizing profits, but still maximizing sustainability as well. So those are really unique aspects that we got to learn of the country. And then also by using the public transportation system, we really gained individuality by being able to travel the city by ourselves when we weren't doing classwork. And so it was really such a unique experience to be able to fully immerse myself in spots that are separate from tourism destinations and really localized, and just to really get an idea of what it actually feels to live there. And so I really appreciated those experiences, and it's a place that I now greatly anticipate returning to because I loved it so much. But upon returning, I also realized that it served a third purpose of helping me gain more financial responsibility. As Melissa said, a lot of times when people study abroad, it's their first time out of the country. I know that that was the case for me. And so I was one of those applicants for the Enrichment Fund as well as the Study Abroad scholarships. And I greatly appreciated that because it totally took a weight off my mind. And was just like, you can go out and do this and gain new experiences, which I completely appreciate. And so, but then also you don't think about having to manage your finances once you get there. The food, the shopping sprees that you do to bring back gifts for everybody, that is totally on you. And so this allowed me to really gain more of that independence and physical responsibility, which I greatly appreciated, and now implement into my life after the trip as well. And so a little cost can add up, such as passports or proper luggage that can work for multiple airlines since they can have different measurements, or even just like wall converters, which is like something you may not think about, but it's definitely necessary. And so those little things are just stuff that students don't normally think about, especially when applying. So being able to overlook those weightier costs kind of helps to be like, okay, I can handle that, and I can still fully immerse myself in this experience. So I just want to say thank you for letting me share my moments. It was such a great experience, and I made some of my best friends there, and I now have a new love and appreciation for a country that I like barely heard about, but now I like am so eager to return to. So thank you.
Thanks, Katie. I have to follow Katie, which is a hard act to follow. I just want to share, I was asked to share some thoughts and introduce you to a program that we developed in 2020. We started trying to develop it in 2018. And it's the Global Leadership Minor in Europe. And so it's an intensive semester-long course where where students take 4 courses in 3 countries in 1 semester. So it's an immersive experience. We're pretty happy with how it's gone. And the growth has developed so much that we're adding 2 new countries in 2024. So students spend 3 weeks in the Czech Republic, and then they take a course in Germany with German students, and co-taught by faculty at NC State and then a faculty member in that country. And then this year they came to London and took a couple of weeks with me. Next year we're going to extend it to Innsbruck and Nice in France, and students will then do their courses in the Czech Republic and then split off into 2 tracks. So one of the cool things I think about this major is that we've had the students look at leadership from a different disciplinary perspective. So each of the courses are co-taught by faculty from completely different disciplines. And we've had students at NC State represent 8 different colleges. The only 2 are the College of Education and the College of Veterinary Medicine. So we're still working on that to have all 10 colleges supported in that. So the program's nomadic, a lot of hands-on experiences in there. A couple of things I want to mention. The first one is we've had 3 CNR students attend this, and I think all of them got Terry enrichment funding. So the actual component of that is incredibly important. The other thing is that a few years ago, the year before the pandemic, along with a colleague at UNC, we put on an event on the importance of global education, and we invited 5 CEOs to talk about why a global education is important from their perspective. And every single one of them, and they represented fields from agriculture to pharma to across different industries, every single one of them talked about that in their mind, a student with a global education rises to the top. And when I heard that, I started thinking about issues of equity, right? And if we don't have diversity in terms of students having an international experience, that is going to be impacting their long-term career goals. So there's certain things that we're working on with the Triangle American Business Network to try and take the funding off the table, not from a university perspective in there as well. So that's something to think about. Just some things about the program, I'll let you read that, but you can see that the courses are taught by faculty in textiles, communication, political science, Paul College of Management and Engineering in there. So very, very valuable experience. And again, I'll reiterate what Kate, Chris, and Melissa talked about. The impact on these students is tremendous, both now and then in the future. So that's all I've got to say. I'll pass it on to some pictures, some student learning outcomes. I'll pass it on to Dean Floyd and Jennifer.
Thank you, Dr. Bacara. First, let me say congratulations to everyone who was recognized today, and to thank you for your dedication and commitment to global engagement in CNR and NC State University. And I have some extended comments, but I'm going to try and keep them brief, and so we can transition to the next phase of this. But I think there are some key points that I'd like to make as we head into that. And as we head into the future as regard to our work in global engagement. As I said in the opening, very few challenges facing our world today are exclusively local. I believe we all recognize that. Those are in this room, and we hope to expand that awareness for those who are not with us here today. But as we look into the future, the education that we provide, the research that we conduct, and the partnerships we seek must be global. And if we hold to old notions of nationalistic exceptionalism, cultural superiority, we will fall far short of our strategic goals. When we created our strategic plan in 2021, we went through a collaborative process to gather input from our college community and establish goals for the next 5 years or more. And out of that process came some key themes and priorities that are reflective of the conversation we will have today and the need to amplify our global engagement. As our vision states, the College of Natural Resources aspires to build a world in which everyone is welcomed and empowered to explore, protect, and enjoy the full diversity of our environment and our communities, while building justice and sustainability for all. And to do that, we establish 3 priorities, which each call for a global perspective. First, we must collaborate to solve urgent challenges at the intersection of the environment and our economy and society. The challenges that we seek to address impact every country, every community, industry, and person on our planet. It is necessary to take a global perspective and cultivate international partnerships to build a future where all societies and the planet can survive in tandem and thrive, in tandem. Next, we seek to engage with our natural environments, industries, and communities as the world's best classrooms, laboratories, and platforms. If the planet truly is our classroom and our laboratory, global engagement will be a key to our ability to deliver inclusive and innovative teaching and research, and this has been mentioned previously. The industries our students are entering are global. The communities we serve are international. The tourists visiting our parks and protected areas are multinational, as well as our cities. The products we engineer and ship all over the world, these questions brought before us as academics and our students as graduates and future industry leaders are far-reaching. Engaging with our world, not just our natural environment, significantly impacts our students' growth and development, making them better global citizens ready to take on a variety of challenges in the workforce. And finally, we must take bold actions to build genuinely equitable and inclusive environments. When we center the need for justice, equity, and inclusion in our work and seek to break down any barriers in learning, research, and knowledge sharing, we are not just doing that in the walls of Biltmore, Robertson, or Jordan, or Partners 2, or Turner House. We desire that every student should have the opportunity to participate in global engagement without barriers. Equity, justice, inclusion, and sustainability are global issues, and therefore knowledge and opportunity must also be global. I have seen that we as a community are committed to these goals, as evidenced today. And I hope you all are inspired by the work of your peers, your colleagues, who we are celebrating today. I will tell you, I am most inspired by our students. No disrespect to my faculty and staff colleagues. But next, you will all have an opportunity for small group discussions about how we develop more global engagement programs in different parts of the world. But before we transition, I'd like to call up Jennifer Piercy, our Assistant Dean for Advancement, and hand it off to you for a moment.
Thank you, Dean Floyd. Just making sure I didn't trip on the way up here, so it's a good start already. So my name is Jennifer Piercy, Assistant Dean for Advancement, for those of you that I haven't had the pleasure to meet yet. For those that I have, you know that I do not hide that I am an alumnus of the College of Natural Resources. So it is very easy for me to talk about and all of the things that we do as a college, but I will echo what Dean Floyd said. This is so inspirational just to see the work that our faculty and staff are doing and how that impacts our students. So I would like to say thank you to our internal and external partners who devote your time, talents, and treasures to our global work and global engagement. I know there are so many of you who dedicate this time to prepare for trips, go abroad on trips, and the post-work of trips. So thank you very much for that. We also have our external partners who make these things possible. They will give the funds, they will help mentor students, they will help provide connections for internships and at universities. I personally have had the privilege to go on 4 study abroad trips and co-lead those to the tune of a little over 100 students. And when you see a student who's never been on a plane, never been out of the state of North Carolina, and manages to go to a couple of different countries, do a plane, a train, a boat, meet people from a university in a different country, it truly is life-changing for them as it is for us. So there is nothing better than to be able to see the fruits of those labors. We do have a number of critical funds that provide support for our students to have these global experiences. You heard about a few, like the Ron and Del Terry Enrichment Fund that Dr. Pasquinelli talked about. And it's also very satisfying to see our donors, alumni, and constituents mentor these students when they're on study abroad and connect them with their future employer. So these students can now work abroad and enjoy the cultures that they have become to love. But as you know, there's always room to grow. We have a need to continue this work to provide for our students so there is no lack of opportunity and the barriers are removed. If we wish to graduate global leaders, we must provide access to the experiences that will give them this global perspective. Along with all of you, I'm working to seek partnerships and to expand the opportunities that we have. As you build your global partnerships, remember to consider how we might further leverage those partnerships to support our students by establishing scholarships or enrichment funds or study abroad and international internship opportunities. We know those international internship opportunities are challenging, but when we come across them, we should grab a hold and take advantage. So I want to close by saying thank you to all the people in the room and also to the folks who were able to join us online. If you have ideas, networks, or connections, please let us know. You can always send an email to me or to the natural resources at ncsu.edu. And thank you once again to Dr. Lee and Dr. Seitz for organizing this event. And I'd like to call up Dr. Lee to transition us into a time of networking. And again, thank you all for everything that you do to make the College of Natural Resources a better place for our faculty, staff, and students.
Wow, I can't plan any better than this. Exactly the time. So perfect. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And thank you, Dean Floyd, for your vision for the college moving forward, and Jennifer for your efforts for continue raising funds to supporting our students study abroad. Again, only half of students get a scholarship. We really want to increase that. So maybe 80, 100% students should be able to have a global experience. So this is great. And I, again, like to congratulate all the people who have been recognized today. Please join me. This is great showcase of our global engagement achievement. And also want to thank everyone for your participation today and your continual global engagement within CNR. I also take this opportunity to thank Dean's leadership team and also the member of CNR's International Committee for organizing this particular event. And especially like to thank Janice Caesar, who has done tremendous work. Janice, please stand up. Yeah. Yeah, Janice has done so much behind the scene to make this happening. So without her help, you thank her for the good food. Okay, that's a really wonderful thing. So this will conclude our formal presentation in 1 hour, as we promised. But you may continue for the table discussion until 2 p.m. or whenever you have to go to the other commitment. Okay, so it's up to you. We have one moderator each table will collect the feedback back to us. We'll summarize, give to Dean, and for his continued support. Okay, so this is a good conversation, and we also want to send a survey back to you for this event. So please provide your input so we can improve in the future. Again, this is the only first one, right? Hopefully, we're going to continue this into the future, and you hear all the wonderful story. And also, I want to thank Dean for his commitment for global engagement. Now he's going to make one trip to Brazil in May, together with the university delegation. Actually, we have 3 faculty plus a dean plus me. We're almost a quarter of a delegation from NC State going to be CNR. So that's really wonderful news. So it's a great leader by example. So hopefully we encourage all the faculty and the students to do more engagement. So with that, we conclude the formal presentation. I want to thank you for coming and have a great afternoon. Thank you.